And welcome back, guys, to the final round. My name is Jake, and today I'm gonna do a little quick video about Mr. Mike Perry, the King of Violence. I'm gonna give you a video here about just how he's so suited to bare knuckle fighting. He's coming off another win. I think he said it. I think his second title win. He's once again the King of Violence in the BKFC. Um, so kind of regains his title after he I think Connor stripped him a couple of years ago after he fought Eddie Alvarez, and then he lost Jake Paul in boxing and stuff. It was just hilarious. But yeah, he went off a big win over Jeremy Stevens, not gonna beat the crap out of him really. You beat the snot out of him. That's how much you beat him up. Um, and man, Mike Perry. Let's be honest, he was a pretty good MMA fighter. He wasn't like a great UFC fighter. I think his UFC record was like 7-8, so he wasn't great. Um, he lost to Alan Joban, Santiago Ponzinibbio, Max Griffin. He has one over Jake Ellenberger. He had a split decision win over Paul Felder. Lost to Cowboy Cerrone. Lost to Cowboy Oliveira. Defeated Cowboy Oliveira. And then his last two fights in the UFC. Not his last two fights. He lost to Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal. Defeated Mickey Gall because everyone beats Mickey Gall. And then his last two fights were against Tim Means and Daniel Rodriguez, both kind of at the outset of COVID, and he lost both of those fights to his last fight to Daniel Rodriguez. Um, and it's kind of interesting when you look at it. He had one fight in triad combat against some guy named Michael Seals, and then he got right into bare knuckle, and he's just been. The guy's awesome, man. The guy's awesome. His first BKFC win came 3 years ago against Julian Wayne. Against Julian Lane. Everyone knows him as the Let Me Bang on Fighter season. I think it was 13 or 12. I forgot the season number. He was on, but he's the guy known for Let Me Bang. And the guy on this show was like, I'll let you bang. And he goes, Let me bang again. Let me bang again. It's like just let me bang. It's his nickname on here is Let Me Bang. It's just so bad. He sucks. But it was funny, and then he had a bare knuckle match against MVP in bare knuckle, which he won by decision. So you can tell MVP probably just ran away the whole fight. Um, and then he smashed Luke Rockhold's teeth. He beat the crap out of Eddie Alvarez, destroyed Thiago Alves. Obviously, he had his boxing match against Jake Paul, which he lost, but whatever. It's boxing. And then he beat the crap out of Jeremy Stevens. And so far in bare knuckle, he's 6-0 with only one fight coming by decision. Against Michael Venom Page. He's at 6-0. The guy's just a freaking badass. And as I said, he wasn't like this absolute dominant force when he was fighting at UFC. He was a solid guy who was just a brawler. He was mostly a brawler. He has other skills. He can grapple. He can do other things. He's well rounded as probably as like almost non UFC level sort of. But he's a really good brawler. Tough. He's tough as nails, dude. I don't think was he ever stopped in MMA or UFC. Yeah, no, Jeff Neal freaking had a head kick on him. Yeah, I remember that beat the crap out of him in 2019. But besides that, I don't think he has a. We got submitted by Cowboy, but outside of that, one finish loss. One finish loss and one submission loss. The rest are all decision defeats. So he's just tough as crap, dude. And he's platinum Mike Perry, dude. And I love Mike Perry. And he's come out with the thing about his ancestry, him being 2% African, and they get the N-word pass, and just all this crazy crap in his career. The things he said, and he's the one because he had Corey Sanhagen on his podcast, somewhat recently, and then he dropped the line like, "Wait, you weighed $2 million on putting your balls on OnlyFans?" And it's like, Mike, dude. But you have to love him, dude. And I think the overall title for the BKFC sort of title, to call it the King of Violence is just so cool. That's just so cool, man. I mean, that is just such a badass freaking thing to call it is King of Violence. I mean, that's just so cool, dude. I mean, honestly, dude, how much better do you get than that, dude? Dude, how much? What the hell? Oh, sorry, someone came up here. I don't know how it was. I mean, dude, how badass is that, dude? That's just such a badass thing, bro. Um, he's a king of violence, and that describes Mike Perry in a nutshell. I mean, calling him a king of violence actually sort of does do him justice. That's what he is. He's violence personified. Is Mike Perry? That's probably gonna be the title of this video. Mike Perry, violence personified. He is, and that's what he is, man. It's an honor to it's an honor to like see somebody in sort of a warrior aspect. You do have Yuri Prohaska, who's the ultimate samurai, and he stands there. He stands there like this when Alex is knocking out Magomed Ankalaev, and he starts crying, and he's like, I will have my vengeance. Alex, great for you, brother. You avenge your guy. I will avenge myself." And he's like, and he's just such a samurai warrior in his honor and his Bushido code, really. Um, Whereas Mike Perry will get pissed off. Mike Perry will spit in your face. Mike Perry will slap you. Mike Perry will push you. Mike Perry will Mike Perry might stick you. I don't think he's ever done some mouth gouging, but I wouldn't put it past him. I don't think he's bitten anybody yet, but who knows? Who knows? He's unhinged, and that's why he's so great for BKFC. Because he had problems in the UFC. He had some fouls, and he had some. The guy was a little dirty, and he talked a lot of shit, and he had some losses, which really came down to it was an MMA, and he's a great fighter. Here's the thing: he is a solid, decent martial artist. Yeah, a solid, decent martial artist. He's a great, just fighter. Just like I say fighter. I'm not talking about like an athlete, MMA sort of athlete. I'm talking about just a fighter. In his heart, he likes to fight. He likes to get in there and scrap. And Platinum Mike Perry is violence personified. I just want to make a little quick video about it. Not really else to talk about else in my Perry. Yeah, this is really quick. It's almost 8 minutes here. Do want to quickly just say that there's some sort of talk about him fighting Connor and BKFC, and Connor's little thing of, "Hey, shut up, Michael. Hey, shut up, Michael. Watch your mouth. You don't perform your gun." And and after Perry won, he walked out. He goes, pats him on the back. He pats him on the back. And goes, "Yeah, that a boy, Michael. That a boy. Hey, that a boy, Michael. There you go." And he's just sorry. That was my Connor impression. I sort of did a little one yesterday. Wasn't that good. This one was a little better. Hey, come on, Michael. There you go. You little fool. You. Every time I do a Connor voice, I have to imitate his holding of Ilya. He looks funny. How would you fight? When he's coked out of his mind. How would you fight? How would you fight Ilya Abturo? Top Turo. Sorry. I had to do it. But yeah, man. I don't think Connor and Mike Perry are gonna fight Bare Knuckle. Connor's doing. Oh, it's in the possibility. He's not gonna fight at Bare Knuckle. I don't even know if he's even gonna fight at the White House. Probably not. I think it's a fair bet. Like we never see Connor. Listen to me. I personally think there's a better chance he fights in Bare Knuckle than he fights in the UFC because he actually has control of the promotion. He can just walk out himself. If he gets hurt, he can say, "Hey, I'm the owner. Fuck this. He's losing." You know what I mean? He can do whatever he wants. He pretty much runs the show there. He doesn't run the show in the UFC. Yeah, the guy who does is his Uncle Dana, but Uncle Dana's not in a good mood right now. Uncle Dana's dealing with boxing, and boxing makes him mad. And it makes him pissed off, and it's probably why he's been a douchebag recently. But that's probably going to do it, guys. I just wanted to give a quick video on here about this awesome brawler, man, Mike Perry. He's a badass man. He's had some awesome wins. I'm excited to watch him in Bare Knuckle again. and he'll probably, it's funny, after this fight, he's like, his face is all, his entire, like, was it left or right side of his face was all like swollen out. You can kind of see it if I enlarge the picture here. You can already kind of see it right there on his face. The part it's showing, it's already kind of swollen. That's in like the third or fourth round. This guy is a freaking badass, man. And man, when you look at all his stuff, man, and just what he's done, he was a solid UFC fighter, 7-8, fought a number of actually really solid opponents. Did he fight any former world champions? I mean, obviously, Luke Rockhold, Manny Alvarez, Michael Page, and Bare Knuckle, but I don't think he fought anybody in UFC who was a champion. No, he didn't. Okay, but he still fought solid guys, obviously. Um, yeah, and dude, he was active in the UFC. He fought like 3 times, 2016. He fought three. He almost fought 4 times in 2017. Twice or sorry, 3 times in 2018, 3 times, 4 times. Sorry, he had a grappling match 3 times 2019. COVID happened, obviously, but man, crazy shit, man. Oh yeah, he was when he fought Miguel, he was the co-main to Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker. That was a hell of a fight. That was a hell of a freaking fight. That was one of those fights that, unfortunately, because it was in COVID, was so unfortunate. It was so unfortunate that it was in COVID because that fight would have been one of the greatest fights ever in an actual crowd. Such a great fight. But yeah, um, pretty much trying to figure out what I'm going with here. Sorry, something came up on there. So, guys, that's gonna do it. Truly, Mike Perry is violence personified. All right, that's gonna do it, guys. My name is Jake. Thanks for watching. And remember, the greatest fighters leave it all in the final round. Be sure Mike Perry does exactly that. See you guys.